Hi, my name is Mike, and what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how I put together a sunset sky like I did in this painting here. I've had a lot of people request information on how to set up a black canvas like this, so I'm going to show you in its entirety how to do something like that. So the first thing I do is I grab a sponge brush and black gesso. This is a completely dry white canvas, so I'm just going to paint it black. Okay, so on my palette what I have here is Indian yellow, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, titanium white, a cadmium yellow, and a Van Dyke brown here. So first thing I'm going to do for this is to grab a brush. This is a 1-inch, just regular synthetic brush. Doesn't matter what you use right now. And I'm going to take Indian yellow and put it right in the center, thinking a circle right about here. What I want to do for this is to have a progressive sunset where it's yellow, red, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, and then I'll reflect it down. I want to do a seascape today. Next I'm going to grab some alizarin crimson. I'm going to go around that circle. So I'm going to now start to blend together my yellow and red, not washing the brush at all, just little X strokes right over that border, slowly. And leave a little circle there untouched. Alright, I'm going to grab my phthalo blue, do the same thing. You can take it right up to the border between the red and the blue. And now do little X's, blending in some of it, maybe half of the red. I want to make it to a nice magenta color. This will help darken it a little bit in the sky so we don't have a very overpowering sky. Alright. Now to my Prussian blue for the very corners. Prussian blue is a very dark, very strong blue. This is a Bob Ross paint and it comes in a plastic tube, the Prussian blue. The rest is Winton brand paint. And the Bob Ross brand paints get air in them and it makes it dry out a little bit. So this is a very dry paint and it's very hard to work with. But I think I should point out now, always wear very old clothes because you will get paint on you. Now we're going to do little X's where we meet our Prussian and our phthalo blue. I'm going to clean my brush with the odorless paint thinner. Beat the devil out of it, and then dry it off on a paper towel. The reason we dry it off on a paper towel is because this is our bottom layer and we want it to be very heavy paint, and if we have a paint thinner in it, it might become a little bit wetter and harder to work on. I have a clean, dry 2-inch brush. Just go across it. Take out any brush strokes. Horizontal, vertical, doesn't really matter. We're being gentle. Alright, that gets rid of any excess paint. I'm going to clean my brush off and beat the devil out of it. Alright. So, that's how I prepare the canvas before I add any color. This is the step that Bob Ross doesn't show, the applying the transparent paint to your canvas. I'm going to pause the video and get right back to it. Okay, so I've got my fan brush. And a little bit of titanium white, not much. Very, very small amount of titanium white. Wipe a little bit off on my palette. Let me show you. Very little titanium white there. I'm going to go to my brightest spot, which I've picked to be the center. Brightest spot right there. And I want to have 4 big poofy clouds. They're coming up like this. Alright, washing my brush off. Every time that you touch the blue, you want to make sure that you wash it off. And then make sure it's extra dry with your paper towel. Some more white on my brush. Kind of let it play, let it bounce around. Stabbing motions, because I like to stab my painting. Dry it off. I also want to have a little bit of symmetry here, so I'll get my brightest spot. And to this side. It's like it's around there. Wash it off. Some white paint. Always working from the inside out. That'll be pretty. Some over here now. It doesn't take too much. I want to see a little bit of white. That's what I'm looking for. That'll be the stuff that I blend. Alright, wash my brush off. Dry it with paper towel. White paint. And I'm feeling it like here too. Dried it off. A little bit of white paint again. Start in the center. And wash off the paintbrush. See, this is a good way to get rid of a lot of white paint if you have it. Why you would ever want to just get rid of it is beyond me, but if you did, that's why. Alright, now to grab a little bit more. I want 4 clouds. Right up this way. Alright, almost pulled my blue into my red, so I gotta be more careful. And now, because this is a seascape, I'm going to have my horizon right around here. I'm going to mirror it. Doesn't need to be perfect, shouldn't be perfect. Just a little bit to give an indication where the clouds will reflect into the water. I'm not going to bother going all the way around because I want waves, so I'd be wasting my time. I'm just going to cover them anyway. And the 4th one. So there's substantially less paint in the bottom than there is in the top. I'm gonna stab a couple more places here, here, here. All right, wash off my brush. I want some more. This way too. It might show, it might not, it doesn't matter. Fan brush still. So you want to pick a hard edge. For me, when the sun is right at the horizon, I want the bottom of the clouds to glow. So I'm going to blend the top of them instead of the bottom. Just little circles. Wherever I have a stabbing point, I want to kind of leave that white. Take out a lot of the paint in other places. Get rid of it. I'm not really blending so much as I'm taking excess paint off of my canvas. Stuff that I don't want to smear. I'll have smearing no matter what, but I like that look, so I'm not worried about that. Tapping motions does this pretty good. Just little circles if you want. Just a little bit here that I'd like to have firm white. On a painting like this, we're taking so much time with the clouds because that's really the main focus. You don't look at the sunset and you think, oh my god, that's a nice wave. You think, wow, that's a beautiful sun, the way that it's shining through the clouds. Maybe here. A little touch more white. Where do you think the sun would hit the clouds? Alright, so I hope you can see by now you have a pretty good indication of where the clouds will be when I start to blend it across. Alright, now I wash my fan brush. I'm going to do the top and then the bottom. Set it aside. Not quite clean and dry enough. This one's better. Okay. Because I blended it out, I don't need to tap it with the corner of the brush. I can just take a direction that I want to flow. I think I'm going to take it into the center every time. So, very lightly. Down, down, and across. Blot it off. Well, I love drop clouds. Blot it off. Now to the center. Blot it off. Now over. Each one at a time. Blot it off. To the center. Now I'm using a nylon brush for this. It's sacrilege, but it works just fine. It's what I had on hand when I first started painting. I kind of like it. Down. All right. You can see that I added a little too much pressure here, how it is swooping. And to stop that, I'm going to take it in the opposite direction and then go over. All right, blot it off. Take it down. All right, now straight across. I'm going to take the brush, tap it into my white. I want a little color in the background. All right, almost. Forgot this side. Symmetry, the eye of beauty. The key to beauty, rather. Whatever. Fuck it. Fix it in post. Fix it in post! That would be nice. I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to blur it some, because it is far away. You wouldn't see too much, very high amounts of detail. Very lightly touching it. Over. Now, as interesting and neat as it looks, you would never really see clouds like this. So I'm going to take my fan brush, I'm going to blend it a little bit. You know. And just over again. Right. I feel like I need a little red here, a little red here. Not much, just to blur it. Some, bring them together. Nice. I like it. Gotta find the joy of painting. You know, get into your flow. Have fun. Back to my fan brush. Alright, because I'm reflecting this, I'm going to now work on the water line, which will be right around here. I'll blend it some, just by tapping it. I'm not really going to do too much to it, because most of it will just disappear later. Getting rid of excess paint is all I'm doing, so don't worry about it. Wiping it off, go to a paint thinner. This is good enough. Alright, it's clean, dry brush. Alright, I'm just gonna to the center. Lightly. It looks like I'm doing this fast. It doesn't matter. It's very light. Now I'm pushing harder because I want it to look like a reflection. I want it to slide. Alright, so for what I'm going to do next, I'm gonna add that water line, the horizontal line across the canvas. showing the horizon. I'm going to do that with a little bit of cadmium yellow and titanium white. Not much yellow. Keep adding way too much yellow. Oh, there we go. It's a very pale color here. A little bit more yellow. There we go. Okay. Gonna wipe off my knife. Always carry paper towels. Bounty should make me a freaking spokesperson for as much as I buy their shit. Alright. Push it out flat. Oh, see, got paint on my pants. Don't care though, because these are old pants. And knife in, pull. Get a little roll of paint like that. And it's okay that it has rough edges. I don't mind. Just do a straight line right across. More paint. The only time I will suggest you touch the actual knife, the blade of the knife rather. The only time you should touch the blade of the knife is when you're doing this. Right. Now we don't have to add too much. This is going to be like waves away in distance. Don't want too much detail because it's going to be far away. Alright, a little bit more down here. Wherever you think the light would shine, you add a little wave there. Touch it with your knife. A little more, maybe down that way. I'm composing this as I go. I know I'm going to do a seascape. I knew that there were going to be 4 big clouds, but I don't know really what else is going to happen in this painting yet. It's a little off center. That's alright. Big 2-inch brush. Just straight across. Straight across. It should already start to look a little bit like water right now. That was bothering me. Okay, so next, grab my linseed oil, a little drop of it. 1 drop. Alright, maybe 4 or 5 drops there. Doesn't matter. Just can't be a lot. You have to have a very little amount. I'm going to take it onto my fan brush. I'm going to mix it with my white. Alright, so I have it's not really very thin, it's a thinned white paint with a little yellow in it. And I want my wave to, I think I want one here. waves like to dance and play, so it won't be perfectly straight. Just touching. There's really not that much paint on my brush. It looks like there is, but trust me. Alright, a little bit up. We'll see the way it is splashing there. Now with my fan brush still, it's going to go this way. Grabbing my little white ledge and I'm pulling it down. Still going this way. So that's one wave. I'm not happy with that actually. I'd like to grab a little bit more of my linseed oil. Toss it down. There's a good bit. So this is going to be an even wetter paint than the one that I had before. So it should stick just fine to it. You have to be able to pace yourself with this, otherwise you won't be able to paint on top of it. So. Couple touching here and there, if you need a very visible and distinct edge. Alright, gonna wipe it off and pull it down. That's more wave-like to me. Like, it looks like the light is catching it in certain places and it's very pretty. My camera ran out of space, so I had to remove some of the stuff on it. Still making my waves, though. Right back into the waves. And I may choose later to highlight the edge of this wave even more. I'm not sure yet. Just wanted to have it out there. And clean my brush. I'd like another wave. I'd like it to be crashing into something. Like I'm thinking I'd like a big rock coming down here. I saw that in one of Bob's videos. Thought it was neat. I didn't do that. I did this once before already. Something similar to this painting. Too much thinner on there. This is my second layer of paint in a lot of places, so don't need a lot of thinner. Right, now I'd like a bit of color just to play a little bit, dance and play. Alright. Now for this wave. It's going to come up, crash. So crash. It's going to explode out that. That's a little, I'm not liking that. I thought I would. I'd like to move it this way. See how that turns out looking. I'm not really looking for detail yet. I'm just trying to, come up with just a basic shape. Foam. The wave will be coming down like this. We'll say it's splashing up a little bit like it did over there. I can tell that I'm getting excited that this is getting finished because I'm going quickly. I need to slow down and take my time because even though it looks like I'm close, I'm really not nearly as close to being done as it feels. Yeah, right there. There's no white paint on top of this, so I don't need any paint thinner at all. Pick the nice titanium white straight up from the big pile, and waves crash down like that. So as you can see, you have to be wary of where you've already put paint so you know what amount of paint thinner to have on your brush so it sticks. If you're having problems getting your paint to stick, that's one of the things that you can work on. Make sure you always are consistent the amount of linseed oil that you add to your paint to thin it down. Ooh, that's pretty. Curve up. Gotta love my curves. Fellas know what I'm talking about. Alright, now I'm going to go to my yellow. In the eye of this wave, there should be a little bit of yellow where the sun is getting caught. Alright, now I'm going to go to my lots of linseed oil. I'm going to get even more actually. This is going to be the equivalent to your liquid white. And very, very thin down, almost watery paint. I'm going to use this for the foam. You won't be able to paint on top of this with anything, so make sure that you use it when you know you want to use it. Alright, I'm pushing too hard, and I'm grabbing the paint below it onto my bristles accidentally. So wash off my brush, pick it back up, gotta be gentle. Or accept that you'll be washing your brush a lot, which I've already done. Just kind of scoop it up onto my brush. I like how that's, yeah, I like that it's more than 180 degrees. You'll notice I'm not killing all my dark. There's still a lot of really dark places in this painting, like right between the waves. That'll help add a little sense of depth, which this painting desperately needs. Should probably come put some tree here or something. I don't know yet. Alright, now it's got to be onto a beach, I think. So I'm going to put in a little beach. Get my pure titanium white. And just not evenly scrub in the land where land would be. There. Gonna grab my 2-inch brush. Add a little bit of reflections. Probably won't see these by the time I'm done. I don't think you will. Straight down. Now straight over. Alright. Wash off my brush. Notice I'm doing this almost all with the 2-inch brush and a fan brush. So it's a very cheap painting to get started. There's not using much paint at all. Some Van Dyke brown, make some dirt areas. Grab my 2-inch brush again. I'm going to reflect this water back onto that dirt. It might show up in a few places, it might not. Hopefully it'll give a little bit of a sheen to it that makes it look reflecty. Gonna wash over my brush again. My Van Dyke brown. Alright, so I said rocks. There needs to be rocks in here. So I'm going to set aside my fan brush. A little more Van Dyke brown. That should be good for rocks. Rocks are like little mountains, so if you want to know how I do mountains, this is a good place to watch too. Gonna get my sharp pointed palette knife, straight in my Van Dyke brown, push it out flat, really hard. Alright, wiping it off. This will be my shadow area. A lot of paint on that knife. Hitting some of the paint thinner that I had earlier. Maybe I should have done this earlier. No matter. Sharp edges are important. Rocks are all geometric shapes. Super geometric shapes. I like mine to not have many curves. And why not? One over here too. And what I could do is grab my little brush. Remember this one from earlier, 1-inch wash. Pull it down, give me an even surface to work with. Just pick a direction that you like and roll with it. Alright, now for my highlight. White, Van Dyke brown, tint of yellow. Mush it up a little bit without really blending it too much. And note where my light source is with respect to this rock. It's going to be hard to do. There, a little bit there. That's some just regular dirt. Here. I'm liking the way this dirt is looking, so I'm just going to keep it up. Not touching the metal, touching the wood only. Some straight Van Dyke brown. Make sure it's clear that that's where the bottom of the rock is. Some more of my highlight. Right. It seems like I'm pushing hard because this is water. If I were doing a mountain, I wouldn't push nearly this hard. And it's still coming up looking like there's a lot of holes in it, which is what makes this style work for mountains anyway. It's a little bit more dark. Very dark foreground. That's what I said earlier in the video. I meant it. I don't want there to be much color at all. My shadow color has a lot less white in it. Highlight. Just play it back and forth. Way more dark. Alright, now, because this is dirt and it's wet, I'm going to run my brush across it like this, just straight across. Hopefully it should give that illusion. I don't think I've ever seen Bob Ross do that, so I'm calling it my own creation. And, you know, a little bit of white there. Grab back my fan brush. Clean up the bottom of this little rock too. There needs to be a little bit more highlight there. So I accidentally got paint where I didn't want it. If I want to get rid of it, I have to thoroughly manipulate the knife blade. It's got lots of little edges on it too, so you can use those. Alright, I think this is almost a completed painting. Maybe Maybe add a little bit of water lines to my very thin down paint. Just kind of. Grab some paint thinner. Rather, I'll clean off my brush entirely. I'm not happy with this wave still. The white, I'm going to use paint thinner for this and not linseed oil. A whole lot of it. It's going to be very runny. Really can't get much more thin than this. So it's going to be the topmost. Actually dripping off of my brush, so I better hurry it up. Maybe up there. Dry off my brush. Just tap it so it doesn't look so bad. Swirl. A little bit of yellow in there too. A little bit of swirl with yellow. Boom. You can have fun with it. My name down here. Be one of the points of interest eventually. Ah, there it is. Trusty little liner brush, straight into paint thinner, straight into crimson. I like signing in crimson because Bob signs in crimson. Very, very thin. It's why I added all that white, if you were wondering. So my signature shows up against the blue. Oh. Very, very thin paint. Rolling the paint onto the brush. X. Underline. I like my X to should be a little longer too. I'm more particular about this than anything else. It's my brand. My brand. I'm going to let this sit and I'm going to let it dry a little bit before I decide whether I want to do anything else. I kind of like it the way it is. I could add a tree here or anywhere really. One last thing. Water line there. Just to highlight that that's the bottom of a rock. Okay, so I just came back to this and I'm looking at it thinking, this is done. I'm not going to add anything or change anything. I hope that you guys had a good time watching this video because I know I had fun making it. Good luck in your own paintings. From all of us here, happy painting and God bless you, my friend.